Hi, let me make sure I'm getting transmission here. It's terrible to start a video and then you realize after several minutes, oh heck, I wasn't even on here. What I want to touch base on today is generational differences as far as what and how a person's supposed to look and what's supposed to be the hottest sex symbol, the greatest thing, blah, blah, blah. You know, I made a comment in a couple of guys in a Lifetime movie. Well, they got these movies called Lifetime movies and a lot of other movies, that are put out by Hollywood or whatever. And it's got these women and they have no hips, they have no buttocks at all, no roundness to their upper thighs. To me, they look like skeletons, but they'll have very soft skin and be the taller females, and that's supposed to be hot and sexy. And it shows every guy in these movies will chase them. I think those movies are backed by feminism to glorify women and to make men just look like dumb dogs that chase women, which actually that has some damn truth to it. It really does. I mean, look at the nightclub atmosphere. I went to nightclubs years and years ago, and I stopped going around the year 1982 because I thought this is superficial garbage. I just went going. The men are like dogs. The women would sit down in tables, and the men would walk around in circles. And the nightclub actually got the nickname of the meat market, or the dog kennel is what a lot of people called it. It was here in Houston. It was the Yesterday Once More Club. It's one of the biggest clubs almost in Houston. It was pathetic, ridiculous. I never did that. I didn't walk to different women's tables where they were sitting down, where it's got the candle in the middle of the day. Would you like to dance? I didn't never do that. That was stupid. I felt like it would have been degrading to me, because that's what a dog does. When the female dogs are in heat, dogs circle neighborhood streets, and approach the female dogs. I mean, how is that any different than being a dog? But, it's what so many men are intrigued by and mesmerized by. I don't get it. Let me start with the EO show of Charlie's Angels. I think that show started like in 1975. But oh my gosh, that show was so popular. And everybody had the hots for Farrah Fawcett and Cheryl Ladd and that other one. I can't remember her name, but she was like the brunette. She was about the height and size of Cheryl Ladd. It was in the first season up to almost then. I think those two remain. It was Farrah Fawcett that opted out, about the middle of the seasons. I don't know how they do that. You got episodes, then seasons. They're called sitcoms. And Farrah Fawcett, she walked away from it. And she was in movies like The Burning Bed and other great movies. Now, actually, Farrah Fawcett never appealed to me. And I would not have slept with Farrah Fawcett because she just didn't have the body type for me. She was tall, yes, and I would have loved to have had her as a friend, but not to go to bed with. Nah, I'm going to keep it clean how I describe things here, because a lot of people, they get offended, and I don't want to hurt my views or, here on YouTube. But Farrah Fawcett, I watched her one time, you know, and I had thought she was superficial, okay, a superficial character. And I watched her in an hour and 12-minute video with Barbara Walters. You know, by the end of that video, I could have kissed Farrah Fawcett's hand. I liked that woman. I liked her, man. I mean, her values, man, she had great values. And she had the right type thinking, you know, where she came from. You know, her teaching, you know, from her parents. And what she saw as beauty in life, you know, was, you know, to have a home, to have children, and for there to be love. And she described how she walked out of Charlie's Angels, and about the middle of all of it, she said, I just couldn't take it anymore because it was too superficial. It was trying to show women as superior to men and that they were these new Amazon, you know, goddesses. And she said, I just couldn't take it being looked at in that way because that's not who I am. I really admire her, and she did walk away from that show. And when she starred in the movie The Burning Bed, she showed herself for being common, without makeup, without her hair done up. She wanted to be a good actress. She didn't want men to, you know, flower at her feet for looks or anything. She never did. Now, Cheryl Ladd, I think she's just a simple, common person. But again, I don't see anything sexual with that woman or the other one. Didn't her last name end with Klein? Hell, I can't even remember it now. But I listened to those two women in interviews. I found the Cheryl Ladd just to be a simple mind and nothing really there. The other one was about cosmetics and clothing, the brunette one, and totally superficial. I'm like, doesn't this human have a heart? Or are they hollow? I mean, you know? And I'm like, why do men go crazy about these women? I mean, because they have no hips. They have no buttocks. They have no upper rounded thighs or anything. I don't understand it. And then for so many men to be so enchanted by Brooke Shields when she started out in the early 80s with this Blue Jeans commercial, to where it looked like a skeleton that was put in blue jeans and had her laying down to where her left knee was actually under her chin, and I thought, what is that? An anorexic of some sort? And I thought, oh, you know. Well, you know, she grew to be tall, but, you know, a guy I know, James, he lives in Galveston, I live in Houston. He mentioned to me one day, said, Brooke Shields is a beautiful woman. And I'm like, what? Brooke Shields? Okay, each to their own. Actually, for me to look at Brooke Shields, I don't see a woman there. I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing it. Now, I can love anybody, you know, based on their character, their personality, their heart, their mind, you know. But I wouldn't sleep with Brooke Shields. They could pay me and I'd go, no thanks. I mean, you know, I'd have to be heavily coerced, you know, to sleep with that female, you know, which is the way I look at her. But then, in Lonnie Anderson, why did Burt Reynolds marry Lonnie Anderson? Again, I'm not seeing anything there. I'm seeing a painted face with hair done up. But where's the hips? Where's the buttocks? Where's it at? You know, it's like I think it was a Burger King commercial in the 1980s. It was funny. An old lady goes in there and with two other old ladies, and they're like, we want to order some beef burgers. And they bring her burger out, and she takes it up, and she says, "Where's the beef? Where's the beef?" Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, where's the meat? You know, it's like in these new movies, these new Hollywood movies made today. I was watching one last night, and it was boring me to death like most of them do. And two women around 20, they lease this house that is supposed to be a haunted house. Oh, I remember the name. House on the corner of the street or something like that. Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes I get bored as a gourd, you know. And it's like, oh, I might as well play this, you know, or that. Oh, man. But I'm like, where's the meat? Where's the meat? I mean, you got, they're tall, they're thin. You know, their posture was great, soft skin, but no character in their face. It's like they were blank. You know, just nothing there. I don't see the womanhood in the face and the eyes, you know. I just don't. And I'm like, I wouldn't make love to either one of them. You know, but most men, they would die and fight each other in a death arena with swords or guns to make love to one of them. I don't get it, people. I don't get it. I really don't. Now, there are some women, I can love them for their character. Like, I watched a movie last night. I really loved it. I've watched it over and over several times in the last few months because this woman that plays as a cook and a house cleaner, her name is Mrs. Hawks. I love her personality, man. I'm like, cool. I mean, I love this. You know, she played her part very good, but Elizabeth Montgomery was the main star in this movie. And the movie is called Victim. Y'all should watch it. It's a cool movie, you know, and it's to where her sister Susan disappeared, and she's like trying to find her, and found out her husband, I think, had murdered her in the end of the movie. Yeah, that's sad. I think that movie was made in the mid-70s, just by the cars. That's how I figure out when they don't list it. It's by the cars, and by the cars police use. You can pretty much figure out what year or time frame a movie was recorded, you know. But Elizabeth Montgomery, I've always loved her face. That woman, if she was still alive to me, I could be around her and just her face would enlighten me. She had the face of a woman. You could see the woman in there. And I loved her voice. But her body, from the neck down, I wouldn't have made love to her, no. Because there's nothing there. There's nothing there. You know? Now, if I would have been married to her, I would have gone ahead and done it and just closed my eyes and thought about something else, but there's just no appeal there. But her face, it enlightens me, it lights me up. Because she has that God-given character, that glow, you know, that face of a woman, you know. And I love her laugh, you know, it's very good. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the way she passed away. You know, that hurts me. You know, that's scary. You know, people, that's scary. I think basically she died of terminal colon cancer that spread. I think that poor woman. God, that is sad. Oh, but anyway, enough of that. Let's put that down. But anyway, I told y'all I like Farrah Fawcett. I love the way she was as a person. I like that woman. But her, Cheryl Ladd, and the other one, and Charlie's Angels, or Lonnie Anderson, I would not make love to them because people, I'm not seeing anything there. I'm just not seeing it. Now, you figure Sally Field that played with Burt Reynolds in the Smokey and the Bandit. Well, yeah, but Sally Fields has a little upper thigh. She's got some hips in proportion to the rest of her body. And she's got a little butt fatting back there, you know? You know, and she's got that great girlish laugh and look. And she was great on the Gidget show that started, I believe, in 1959. And y'all should watch the movie Gidget Goes to Hawaii. Y'all should watch that. That was a good movie. I mean, that is a great movie. You know, and Annette Funicello from those times, she had good looks too. She was built like a girl's supposed to be built, you know. She had some butt and some upper thighs on her. But these days, I don't get it. What you, I guess they would be called the Millennial 3 generation after me. I'm a baby boomer. So those born after me were what, millennials around the mid-70s? And what would you have, Millennial 3 today? Maybe these latest Hollywood stars, female stars, maybe it appeals to you guys, I don't know. Maybe you're made different than me, you know? But there's a definite difference for me. Now, here's some women that do appeal to me. Oh, yeah. If I got them in bed, I wouldn't let them go. I'd be, where are you going? Get back here. Get back here. I wouldn't want to let them go. Top of the list. Barbara Eden. Oh my God. Man, she's got a body. She was never fat in her whole life. It isn't fat now, but boy, does she have the right curves and the meat in the right places. That woman's got it. Not only that, she has the face of a woman. She's got the face of a woman. Oh, man. I saw her in an episode, and man, my mouth dropped open. It was made around 1960, or it might have been 1962, the Andy Griffith Show, to where she comes to Mayberry on this bus for something, and she's wearing this skirt outfit with a jacket, and man, she's shaped like an hourglass. And it shows to where after she gets off the bus, and Andy Griffith was out there, you know, and he's like, well, welcome to Mayberry, ma'am, and she goes and says, where's your department store, or something like that, and she walks away and she wiggles her hip back and forth, and the producers or directors, they made a sound that with some drums like boom, boom, ba-boom, boom, ba-boom, boom. And Andy Griffith is looking at this, and I think he told her later in the show, he said, now, ma'am, dear, you've got to be careful, you know, and she was innocent-minded. It showed her to be an innocent-minded type that didn't realize the effect she had on men, but boy, did she have the buttocks and the body. Wow. And in the movie Harper Valley PTA, see, I believe that was made around the year 1978. Golly. Woo! Man, she had it. Oh, she had it. Because it showed her wearing a combination of clothes. Pants that were real tight. And then this short mini skirt to where she went to the Harper Valley PTA. You know, that was so cool. Here's some other good lookers, you know, or whatever. Oh, I remembered them all by heart. Oh, it's in me. It's in my male hormones. It's where I keep the records. But Anne Francis. I'll tell you what, guys. Most of you are going to be, who the hell was that? But you watch some movies in the late 1950s or early 60s, Alfred Hitchcock movies. She starred in a couple of those. Man, she wore her skirts kind of tight. And man, did she have the curvature. Oh man, that woman had it. And she was one of the taller women too. She had it. Go look her up on Wikipedia. Go look her up. You'll see what I'm talking about. Unless it shows a picture or her when she was real old or something. You know, you're not gonna, none of them have it there, and neither do us men. Of course not, you know. Women were real old, but you gotta look at them in their heyday, their prime or whatever. Another knockout. Oh, now she was thin, but she had it in the right places. Oh, she had it. Michelle Phillips. That is, yeah. From the time I was, let's see, 13 years of age. 13 years of age, oh, I had it in the male department. It was all there. It was all there. I'm not going to go into detail. But I remember she turned me on. And at that particular time, let's see, Michelle Phillips is 11 years older than I am. Or maybe 12 years older than me. So when I was 13, she was probably about 24, 25. Man, did she ever have it. Oh my God. Because for the singing group, she would wear bell-bottom pants. And then she was in a movie with Charlie Sheen called The California Kid. She was thin there. I don't know what was going on in her life there. She was a little too thin, but she still looked very, very good. You know, in that movie. And when she was starred in the sitcom Knots Landing in the early 1980s. Oh, whoa, boy. Even her shape had changed from when she was in her 20s, but man, I can't figure out if she got better or just a different greatest. Because man, I sure wouldn't have turned her down. I sure wouldn't have turned her down, I'll tell you that right now. She looked good, scrumptious, delicious. And you know what? I like her as a person. I've listened to Michelle Phillips in a couple, not earlier interviews. She was controlled by media in earlier videos when she was younger, but I'm talking about later videos after like the year 2013. She is a very modest, down-to-earth, good person. Because the one man that was an interviewer, and I think this interview was back in 2013, he said, Michelle, of all the men you've dated and had relationships with, which would you consider the best of them all or the worst? She paused and she looked at him and she said, I can't answer that question. And he looks back at her and says, you can't answer that question? Why? And she said, because if I was to answer that question and say which one was best, well, then the others would feel lesser, wouldn't they? And then if I told you what I think was the worst, that would be people that would be hurt, now wouldn't they? So he said, okay, let's just skip that question and move on. You know, that right there, people, that is the definition of a person with a good heart. That's a good human being right there. That is a good human being. And then, these aren't interviews, but it's just her daughter, China Phillips, has recorded videos with Michelle Phillips in it, and she calls them Mama Michelle, you know. And there's one Michelle Phillips birthday party when she turned 77 years old from about 2 years ago here on YouTube. Y'all should watch it. Golly, a commonly good person, man. And another where her daughter China is over and her son-in-law, China's husband, she talks about her mom, how her mom died at age 32 or 33, how her little brother died at 7, and a lot of sad things, and she saw her grandmother die, you know, while she was standing there. Her grandmother breathed her last breath. And she talks about things from World War II she had to experience in life, you know, the repercussions. My God, she's a good-hearted person. Golly, she's a good-hearted person. And she's very modest. She's a very modest human being. Very modest human being. Very down to earth. Because in these later videos, she doesn't wear any makeup at all. She doesn't color her hair. She just brushes it back and ties it back, and it's gray. She's common, and she's happy that way. Michelle Phillips, I can tell you people right now, is not a superficial person. And she is a good-hearted person. Because she will not badmouth any person. Now, she does mention why she had to leave John Phillips. It was because of drugs. And she was trying to, China was just a baby. And it was a danger to China. And she said, I had to get away from it, you know. Boy, I understand that. And she did good with her life, man. I have to applaud her. I have to applaud that woman. And her, she's got that woman in her voice. If I was with Michelle Phillips right now, I would be happy because it's her character, people. It's her personality that has the value, you know? Okay, I've hung up on that long enough. Who else? I wrote some of these down. See, thinking about that, it just, you know. Okay. You know what? I don't think I can remember. Oh, yes I do. And this is important. Because this one is somebody no men ever recognized. I think I was the only man on earth that realized it. Because I used to, from time to time, when I wasn't busy, you know, I would watch the show Happy Days. It would just happen to be over. I'd be over at my dad's house, you know, and the show Happy Days would be on. And my sisters and my niece liked to watch that show. Okay. And, now Joni Cunningham, she looked good to me, but she's too young for me. I'm not into minors, hell no, never have been. But, you know, the one that played the mother, Mrs. Cunningham, Marion Ross. Y'all know she turned me on highly. Because I'll tell you what, the one that played the mother, Mrs. Cunningham, nobody ever had any recognition from her. But did y'all ever pay attention to those hips she had? And her backside, her butt? Did any of you ever notice that? I'll tell you what, man. That woman had meat. She had meat. Not an ounce of fat, but she had meat on her. See, she's a woman, man. If they would have portrayed her in a one-piece bathing suit, she could have turned some men's heads, people. See, Hollywood didn't use her for the right things. They could have gone a lot further if they'd have put that woman in a beach movie, you know, or something. They could have painted her face up. Oh, they could have done that. You know, makeup can do anything. I've been in theatrical myself. I've worked in theatrical at comedy clubs. I did this, it was around 1996, 97, 98, and 99. I've done some performances in comedy clubs. I was never a damn movie star or got rich or all that. Yeah, no. And I was a machinist, metals engineer for Hydro then, of course, from which I retired to. But it's something I love doing on the side, And I enjoyed the entertainment, but it got to be stressing and too much trouble, you know, after a while. And the loudness, see, I had very good ears. It was too loud for me, you know. And I would have to take pieces of paper towel and put in my ears. It was too loud. Because, see, I treasure my hearing. And I thought, I never want my hearing to be disturbed. Because I can hear like a deer can. Snap of a twig, you know, I can hear it. And I can tell what direction sounds come from, you know. Like where they're coming from or whatever. And sound can trick you. Another one, now she doesn't have that now, and I'll tell you why, Linda Blair. Linda Blair let idiots screw up her thinking when she got into, she was about age 20, I think, and she went, vegan, vegetables only, you don't eat anything that has a face. And she got skinny, you know, and she threw away what she naturally had. But you men, watch the movie called Stranger in Our House, or actually the movie has two titles, Stranger in Our House or Summer of Fear. And you watch Linda Blair, I think she was right at age 18 when that movie was made. And she wore these, she'd wear pants. Man, look at that butt. Woo, man, she had some butt. That girl had some butt on her. I'll tell you what. And she should have left herself that way and been natural. Because some people, they're better off to be a little chubby. But see, they go on these crash starvation diets, you know, and they believe all this bogus. What Linda Blair did, see, she ruined that. And she should have never ruined that. She should have kept that and not listened to idiots. That's why that should be a lesson to all of us. Don't listen to idiots in life, people. Oh, you shouldn't have a car like that. You need a car like this. Oh, you shouldn't dress like that. You ought to dress like this. You know what? Ignore them. If something is comfortable to you and you like it, keep it, because it's probably meant to be. It's who you naturally are, and you'll go further in life that way. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. What is the actual title of this about sexy sex symbol goddesses of Hollywood and about some people. How should I title it, people? Let's see. Hollywood. Women of Hollywood, or Hollywood women, symbols, and about some women. Some Hollywood women. Hey, I got it. What? Hollywood women symbols and about some of them I truly adore. Yes. Or I could be Hollywood women and those women I adore and the superficials I disregard. Yes, okay. I think that hits the nail on the head, but one I almost forgot. Okay, Yvonne DiCarlo. You know, she was in the movie The Ten Commandments. She did good in that movie. Played as the wife of Moses. You know, she was one of the sheep herder women. You know, he came across in the desert. But when she was acted and played the part as Mrs. Munster on the Munsters comedy sitcom in the mid-60s, did any of you men ever glance at her backside? That woman sprouted. I remember back then, man, I wanted to get her in bed. Now Marilyn, you know, the one that was real pretty, that played as, they called her Ugly something, that was in the Munsters family. She had a pretty face, but she didn't really rock my boat. But Yvonne DiCarlo, oh, she did. Anytime she'd turn around and show her backside, that's what I wanted to see. Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm ready, baby. She had it, man. And I think Liz Taylor might have had it too. Some pretty good. You know, Yvonne DiCarlo and Liz Taylor, a lot of people don't know it because of how they make movies, you know. But actually, those were very short women. They were very short. Liz Taylor and Yvonne DiCarlo were very short women. Now here's a personality I always loved, and she sort of appealed as an adult, but she's not really my type. I love Erin Morin. I heard her in a Maury Povich 3-part interview to where she talked, and I thought, girl, I like your attitude, you know. But anyway, this is Earl signing off. How long have I been babbling on? How long? Well, 38 minutes, almost 39 minutes. Okay, is that allowed at YouTube? Oh, I love you, YouTube. You've opened a lot of horizons for me over the years, and I've educated on many things through YouTube. I love y'all, you know. And y'all make everybody watch my videos. Say you have to watch our old videos. Just joking. But anyway, later, people.